How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I know this is going to be a little bit different to what I've put out before, but this is a little bit of a passion project for me. Personally, it's one of my, I don't want to say it's my all-time favorite, but it's up there. This is, for those who don't know, Napoleon Total War. It is a relatively old game, however, I have modded it. For those who are interested, I can post a link to the mod. This is DarthMod, one of the most popular mods out there on the internet. Basically, it overhauls the game. Not too much to an extent, to the point where it's totally different. However, if I give you an example, if we click on Napoleon, you could see the amount of units that have changed is now you're allowed 40 per army. I've doubled the size of units, so they're no longer smaller. Battles will be bigger. The effects within the battles have changed. So let's get right into it. The reason behind this is a little interesting. For those who have seen it, the Ridley Scott film, Napoleon, that came out, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. However, it's an entertaining movie for a Hollywood sense, but in terms of how accurate it is, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of off-putting. I feel like it tries to do too much in too short of a time. I don't think 2.5 hours was enough time to tell the whole story. If you look at other movies from the past, like Waterloo, I think that came out in 1970 something, I forget. But that does a very, very good job of portraying the size of everything, the accuracy of everything. But then again, it was also made at a different time, and they had a lot more practical effects than movies made nowadays. I'm just trying to think. The whole story itself is I feel like too big of a project to try and get done within that 2.5 hour time span. I don't know if anybody has ever seen the series Sharp, starring Sean Bean, but that's another good one. I think it's a fictional, it's a historical fictional story, I think, because I don't think the guy ever existed, but at least it's within the context of the time period. But that takes place over multiple seasons, so at least you have a little bit of time to, progress the story. I think his story starts in Spain. It starts with the Peninsular Campaign, and it, starts from, Portugal, and he makes his way through different areas, and eventually he ends up in France, and then eventually he makes it to Waterloo, and then I think eventually he gets to India, but that's after the fact. But yeah, that's at least my take on it. I'd be interested to hear those of you who have seen it. Try to not spoil it for those who haven't, but tell me what you thought of it if you have seen the movie. I'd be interested to hear. But anyway, tangent aside, we're in a little bit of a precarious situation. I believe this is the war of the second coalition, maybe third. I'm not entirely an expert on this period of time. I have general knowledge of the time. I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I believe this is the second or third coalition. Regardless, we have Messina in northern Italy. We have Michel Ney, Napoleon, as well as Davout here in Alsace-Lorraine. The thing I'd be interested in, I'd like to try and deal with the British Navy, but I know that's probably going to be a bit of an issue. Hanover's going to be a little bit of a stretch, especially if the Prussians decided to declare on us. The Swedes will definitely be trying to go for it. I wonder, do we have military access through... Hesse Castle? Can we try to get access? I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, but I think it'll be worth it for 600 gold. What else can we do? I mean, that's probably it. Well, no, because it's the Prussians. Oh, no, yeah, we have a connection there, so we should be okay. So I might have Davout. Oh, you can't go through the woods. Okay, so we're gonna have to go through the Prussians. This will be interesting. We'll see how that goes. I don't think... No, the Swedes can't get there. That changes things. We'll have our spy head over to Vienna. I'd like to see what the Austrians are doing. I believe the biggest pains that we'll have are the Austrians and the Prussians. The Russians will take a little bit to get here, so hopefully we could deal with the Germans in the best way we can. I don't want to send these trade deals to make more money, because then the Brits can take our trade. I feel like it'd only be advantageous if we manage to get overland trade deals, or deals within the Mediterranean. Gibraltar might be a shout to kind of get line of sight if any British naval forces try to enter the Mediterranean. But yeah, we'll see. For now, we'll just upgrade our economy in whatever ways we can. I believe this is this... Okay, it is France. What are we going to be prioritizing? Probably infantry more than anything. Alright, that's going to have to be our first turn, unless we put... We could have Ney and Messina go through Italy and try and strike the Austrians there, but then again, I'm afraid of splitting my forces up. Forget, do we have access through Bavaria? Yeah, we do. And what about Württemberg? Yeah, we do. Okay. Yeah, I guess we could have Napoleon and Ney move towards Tyrol. Alright, that's going to have to be our turn. Alright, I will see you guys on the next turn. Alright. The Ottomans and the Austrians are at each other's throats, which is good for me, hopefully. We can only hope that diverts some of the Austrian attention to the Balkans. terms of this trade ship, I assume... Okay, so those are Brits. Maybe we can go deal with them real quick. Let's go investigate. No, okay, so there are none there. Maybe we send the trade ship for spices. Because I want to say that's going to be more expensive. Yeah, spices are 42, coffee is only 21. So we'll have our Navy intercept trade off the Sardinian coast. Try and take some of the British money from their trade with the Ottomans, which I can assume they're trading with the Ottomans. Yeah, they are. See, word of advice for people who play Empire Total War or Napoleon Total War. I mean, Empire more so, because it takes place over 3 theaters. If you're playing a nation that doesn't have overland trade, I mean, here, I'll put this out for people who haven't played this series before. I'm assuming that some of you have. For those who haven't, Napoleon Total War and Empire Total War are relatively similar games in the sense that they're made in a similar style. However, Empire takes place in the early 18th century compared to Napoleon Total War, which takes place during the 19th or early 19th. Obviously, particularly with the Napoleonic Wars, hence the name of the game. A big difference between the two games is obviously when they came out, but for trade, more specifically in the scenario that I'm trying to bring up, in this game for Napoleon, you could see which lands are overland versus sea routes. So our trade with the Ottomans is leaving through, I believe that would be Marseille. Yeah. So our trade, actually no, it's leaving through Genoa. So our trade is moving through Genoa over sea into the Peloponnese in Greece, versus our trade routes in Spain, which are going over land through the Pyrenees, and then vice versa with our trade going through the HRE into Prussia. Now, if you're playing Empire Total War, and let's say you're playing as Great Britain, your trade is mostly going to be, or not mostly, it's going to be through sea, because your capital is London. So no matter what, you're a giant island, all your trade routes are going to be overseas. Now, the problem with that is in terms of long term, you're going to need to have a strong navy to protect your trade across the multiple theaters of the game. Otherwise, people can, go to those different theaters and sink your ships, tanking your trade, which is going to be a majority of your income. So something to think about. But for us, I'm not going to deal with any more trade routes that could potentially get raided because, as people will know, French Navy at this time doesn't really stack 1-to-1 against the British Navy. So maybe if we get our Navy up to par, sure, but I'd like to have the continent more secure before we focus on that. So for now, as I said, we're going to go get some spices. Because, like I said, 42 is bigger than 21, so... And the price goes down a little bit because obviously we're putting more out there on the market, but who cares? That's making us, I believe, a little bit more money. I want to say that's, yeah, 780 bucks. Which is not bad, not bad. Some ivory down there. Ivory would actually be really good, so maybe the next trade ships we get for more spices and ivory, because I believe these two are only coffee. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it seems good for now. Again, let's see what's going on in Vienna. Seems that they're sending Johann von Österreich, which is an interesting name if you translate that to English. His name is literally Jonathan of the Austrian Empire, for those who don't speak German. Interesting name, to say the least. Oh, did the Bavarians flip to us? I guess they did. Huh. Well, I'm not going to complain. It's just more territory for us, I guess. It's a welcome surprise. And of course they run like cowards. Karl Mack von Lieberich. Hopefully they try to engage us, but who knows. Could try increasing the infrastructure. Might have Messina come up and siege Tyrol and have those units from Bavaria come down to help him. I'll try to see if I can get a battle in here, make it a little bit more interesting for you guys. Alright, so this should be a little bit more even, at least in Messina's favor. They'll have the numbers compared to us as they have more infantry. However, the quality of their infantry, I'm already taking about half of their strength out because it's militia. So this is relatively even, as you can tell by the balance of power. So we will save the game. And don't worry, I'm not going to save scum. If we lose this, we lose this. If we win, we win. But yeah, I'll see you on the field. Alright, welcome to the Battle of Tyrol. It's interesting terrain. I might have the artillery occupy this hill. It's got pretty good line of sight where we need. The cavalry, I'll hold in reserve. Because we have the Chasseurs à Cheval. We've got at least 2 units of that. We've got some French hussars. The infantry, I'll have march to the forest as they have no artillery. And as for Messina, we'll have him behind the artillery. Yeah, I like this layout. Have the artillery move up. Now this is a cool feature that I like about the Napoleon. I was about to say the Napoleonic games, but Napoleon Total War is the fife and drum. It's a little bit tamer as I turn down the volume, but if you can hear the drums, that's the DarthMod. The fife in the background, which is kind of like a flute, but a little smaller, is part of the base game. The one thing I wish the base game did was this, as they're doing now. However, have the fifes go to each regiment, so let's see if we can find which one it is. Here we go. So only this regiment right now has the fife going on, compared to all the other regiments, which kind of sucks, but, you know, that's just base game Napoleon for you. We'll have Messina move up. The thing you also need to be careful about with artillery is artillery in this game, and I believe it also does in Empire, it causes friendly fire, so if you have infantry or cavalry moving in front of the cannons, just be careful, because you will take friendly fire. So for now, we'll tell the artillery to hold off. We'll have one unit of the chasseurs move to this little ravine. We'll have this unit of chasseurs move over here, and we'll have the hussars on the far left. And I apologize in advance if you hear some sniffling. I have been overcoming a little bit of a minor illness. So again, if you hear that in the background, I'm just a little sick. But for now, I think infantry should be out of the way. Only one way to find out, though. So let's hope we don't take friendly fire. Boom. Hell yeah. Got about 3 guys. Not bad. Knocked about 7 down. Only got 3. Okay, yeah, it's the Archduke unit. And they're falling back. Careful of these things, by the way. If you have cavalry charging across them, they will instantly die. Probably not the best idea. And we have the Landwehr moving up. Interesting that they're choosing militia to engage the French infantry. We'll have our infantry move up in anticipation. Let's try and get a cool shot for you guys. Let's see, I forget what the key is for the cinematics. I want to say F12 is screenshot. Is it F10? No. I forget. If we ever do something like this in the future, or we will, but I'll figure it out by then. I'll try and get a couple cool shots in for you guys. Still kind of figuring this out. More so winging it than anything. Should be good enough range. I think all 3 units should have at least some of their infantry firing in that. Let's see if I can get a good shot when they line up. Alright, here we go. As they inch closer.
Ils sont maintenant à portée de nos fusils, monsieur.
And this is what I mean about the DarthMod effect that I was referring to earlier. You could see by the smoke effect that it is pretty thick smoke and it is moving downwind. For whatever reason in the base game, the smoke effects are really small and not to scale per the period. DarthMod does its best to try and keep it as close as it can to historical realism, which I like. And like I said, if you guys find this mod interesting, I know it was pretty popular back in the day when it first came out. It's just a mod that I really enjoy and thought I would put on the channel. So yeah, let me know if you guys find it interesting, and I'll put it in the description for those who don't have it. I would assume that some of you who have this game at least know of DarthMod. It's the most popular mod out there, besides Napoleon 2 or Empire 2 or other mods out there. Another big difference between infantry and militia. Militia just fire, I believe, in the front row, or at least what would be the front row. Regular line infantry actually shoot in ranks. That is another thing that DarthMod changes. In the base game, only the front row would shoot, but in DarthMod they do rank fire, which is the first rank will shoot, crouch, second rank shoot, crouch, third rank shoot, which again is more accurate per the times. Let's see if our artillery can shoot the general for now. We'll have this unit move up on its flank, run to get there. We'll have the chasseurs on the right flank. Sprint to get over there. Same thing over here, as well as the hussars. Let the infantry reload. Seems the Austrian infantry is moving up, which is good for us because that puts them in cannon range. Let's have the artillery focus on the new targets advancing here, as we can try and get 2 for 1.
Sir! Our general is under attack!
How? How is Massena being shot from there?
L'infanterie suisse attend les ordres. L'infanterie suisse attend les ordres.
Now granted, I know my micro skill is probably not the greatest right now. Not like a couple of other creators I know out there that play these style of games.
Garde révolutionnaire! Tout de suite! Garde révolutionnaire! les ordres.
Case in point, I wasn't paying attention here and I lost 18 guys there. That's great. Let's see if we can try and get a charge on there. Landwehr unit.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir. L'infanterie suisse attend les ordres. Ouvrez le feu! Infanterie d'élite!
And there we go. There's the Battle of Tyrol. Probably took a bit more casualties than I would have liked, but yeah, it took about a third of my army losses. But you know what? Oh, there's an audio bug. Nice, cool. Now, mind you, this is over a decade old, so audio bugs are are going to be prevalent and do still exist. Can't remember the last time this thing was actually updated. So we'll just, for your sake, ignore the ignore that area of the map until the end turn. Now I wonder, are the Dutch, or in this case, the Batavian Republic, at war with the English? Yes, they are. Okay, nice. So at least their navy there puts a bit of a threat to the English navy at the Chatham Docks. And those of you who why can you not cross the actual visible bridge there? Why not? Is it because we don't have access through what would be Prussian territory? Request access for 5 turns. I'll give you 5 turns in return. No? Okay, how about 5 for 10? Still no. 5 for 20. Still no. Wow, tough crowd. How about you give me Cleves and I give you Hanover, and in return I get, actually I wouldn't need access. I'll give you 10 turns access. Let's see if this works. Nice. Okay, cool. So now we don't need to worry about the Swedes. And it's a good thing I didn't make anything in there. We'll have a gunsmith there. We'll move Bernadotte to Münster, and we'll have Davout go to Cleves. Another thing differentiating Empire from Napoleon is Napoleon Total War doesn't really put an emphasis on religion in this game. However, it will affect unrest as per these modifiers here, religious unrest. As you can see, this area is German, or what is modern day German, and a majority of the people here practice Protestantism, while our state religion is Catholicism. Thus, the unrest, as they do not like that a Catholic nation is ruling over them. However, in Empire, there is a way to combat that with the building of religious monasteries and upgrading them, where they can spawn priests, which will then convert the region that they're in to your state religion. So, I believe we've got enough done there for all that I can move, at least. And we'll call that for turn 2. It's interesting to see what the AI does, as most of this game is just ultimately reading what they do and reacting. In terms of the deal that I made for Hanover, I believe that's probably the best deal that we can get, as I haven't really built anything in the region. Plus, it kind of does us both a favor. It consolidates my territory. It consolidates their if I could speak English, consolidates their territory. And then not only that, it allows Bernadotte and Davout to support each other in the event that the Swedes manage to connect. We'll have this merchant ship engage in the ivory trade. Hopefully that gets us, yeah, that's a lot of money there. That is a substantial amount of money. And I believe there are no ships from the English here. However, the Austrians could be building a navy. So I think what we'll have our fleet do is move up the Adriatic to Trieste and engage that harbor there to ensure that our trade isn't messed with in the Mediterranean, because that is vital. If you look at our income, half of our income is through trade alone. So the Mediterranean is vital to us. It's probably one of our biggest strategic objectives, to ensure that no enemy fleets engage us and disrupt our trade here. You know what, we can... What's the likelihood that we get this? 30%? What about Johann? 45%. So we have about a third chance that that goes off. And from what we can tell, it's mostly regular infantry, artillery. I would assume maybe 1 or 2 units of cavalry. I mean, a 50% chance that we get infiltrate that army. Okay, we're gonna ignore Karl Mack and try to go to Johann. We'll have Napoleon move to Munich. Or I don't know why I did half English, half German there. Munich, or as it would be in German, München. Thus, you can see where my brain was thinking. We'll have Ney in support there. And from here, let's see. So the Irish are better at reloading. However, they're worse in melee compared to the Swiss. In terms of the Swiss Grenadiers, in terms of the Swiss infantry, they're better at everything, I think. And then we have the French Regiment Étranger, which I guess is the Foreign Legion, or the early iteration of the Foreign Legion. I know it doesn't really give a good description here. You could pause and read it if you'd like. But I want to say, based off of the Empire Total War version of this is, or at least the DarthMod version in Empire, I want to say that this is the early iteration of the French Foreign Legion. It's literally just a bunch of foreign guys fighting for the French, which I believe that is French for stranger. Well, great. Minus 3% to Navy units in this region. Such a big buff. I would love to have that. If it weren't for the fact that it's literally right by the English. Probably should have built that in Toulon, but I prefer to have more trade routes because that opens up the doors to how many people I can trade to. We could build a dockyard in Corsica. That would actually not be half bad of a shout, because then we could start building a navy in the Mediterranean without worrying about threats to the English. So let's do that. That'll be very big in terms of long-term success. We'll buy more merchant ships, as more merchant ships equals more trade. And the biggest thing in this game is trade, especially in Empire 2. You make most of your money through both of those. I don't really need spies. I kind of need research more than anything. I think we get 2 gentlemen anyway. So he's good at civil, he's good at civil, which we are currently doing civil. Yeah, so for now, we have 3 turns, which this will be over in 3 turns. Then I can have one of them move to what would be Eastern Belgium. Actually, you know what we could do? We could do a military cannon factory, and then turn this into a manufactory, which is reduced artillery for Alsace, and have most of our infantry come from France itself. But yeah, we will end it there for now. If you're interested in this series, leave a like or a comment. And if you'd like to see potentially a DarthMod playthrough on Empire, leave a comment, let me know. But for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.